What's up, everyone? Octoberz here with another episode of Artist Spotlight, where I kind of just spotlight people that I know, like I said, creatives, whether it's here locally in San Diego, my city, or elsewhere that I just think that they're doing dope things. And today I have a really dope guest, Catalina, who I met about, it's almost going to be a year. It was like in October when I had an event,
hmm
and I thought it was really dope what she's doing. She's a photographer, and then you're an event coordinator and all that. And welcome to Artist Spotlight. So I kind of wanted to, talk to you and kind of pick your brain, like how your photography, like I know you've told me, but like for people listening in, like how your photography journey started, and then kind of go
Okay.
into what you do, like at Barrio Logan. So if you don't mind, just kind of starting there, like how did you get into the photography?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for the invite. I'm very honored.
You're welcome.
Um, I kind of started in about 2021, kind of like after the pandemic. Everybody started going back to school, kind of like online. So I started some photography classes at Grossma. I just kind of wanted to learn more, like get to know my camera settings a little more. Photoshop is a beast in itself. So,
Yes.
yeah, just wanted to take classes, started off doing them online. And then we moved into in-person classes, and I just really enjoyed all the classes in that program. So I just got to learn a lot, and it just inspired me to kind of keep going and do more and learn more. So we learned different like techniques. We were able to do like film development, and then like darkroom printing and
Yeah.
cyanotype method, and just so many different things. So I just really enjoyed it, and I just kind of kept going with it. And it just so happened that I was in Barrio Logan. I grew up there. My parents grew up there, so I'm familiar with the area.
Okay.
And I was down there inside the art hub actually, and I was just walking around into all the little studios, and it just so happened that I think I saw like a for rent sign or something, like either on Instagram
Mm-hmm.
about the studio. And so I was like, you know what? Let me check and see like what it is. And it just kind of all worked out, and all the details kind of aligned to what I wanted to do. And
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? Let me try it. Let me do this. Let me try to get the studio. Let me bring all the work that I've been working on in school and just kind of like be able to display it and see what people think about it.
Yeah.
And so I did it. I was able to get the studio there, did my grand opening, kind of
When was that, a
made
year
my,
ago or was it a couple years ago?
it'll be a year in July.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow, it's
Yeah.
coming up.
So July, it'll be officially a year. But yeah, just kind of did it all, legit, like went down to the court and got my business name and permits and all that, just kind of like to make it
Yeah.
real. And yeah, and at the grand opening, I got a lot of really good feedback, and people were purchasing, my prints, and it just felt good. So
Yeah.
I kind of, stayed with that, like inspiration, motivation, just, people kind of like really giving me feedback about my work, and have just kind of kept going with that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's really dope. Yeah, and congrats or happy early anniversary, should I say? That's
thank
pretty cool.
you.
Because I know it's that's a whole different like monster too. Like having like getting all your like your license paperwork. That's a lot. Like I remember I tried to get like a permit. I was like I kind of gave up a little bit because I was like, oh my god, like I don't have the time. But it takes a lot. So that's why like I congratulate you. And it's inspiring to like kind of hear your journey like from 2021 to like where you're at now. And then we'll get
Yeah.
into that too because I want to talk about Confluencia Galeria, right? Is how you say it. Um,
Confluencia Creativa
Eva.
Galería.
Creativa Galeria. Yes. So if you want to talk a little bit about that too for the people listening in, because I know you, again, I said you're an event coordinator because you coordinate events not only there but in other places. So how did that get started too?
Yeah, in the art hub, um, a lot of people know Xochitl Villarreal. She has the little shop in front of my studio named Casa Jovi. And she brought it to my attention that she has an opening for another studio in the back where the Galeria is. And
Mm-hmm.
she wanted to know if I kind of want to take that on. And I said, sure.
Yeah.
Well, let's do it.
Yeah.
So I was able to partner up with Daniel Padilla Arte. So between him and I, we share
Okay.
that space back there, and we do art shows relating with like photography, art. We coordinate with Xochitl the markets that we have down there on the weekends too. So we invite vendors to come and bring their items to sell while we have the exhibition inside the gallery. So we do either solo exhibitions or we do group exhibitions. And it's just been a lot of fun too, just kind of getting to know a lot of different artists and
Yeah.
kind of seeing like what their style is and seeing like their creativity. It's been so awesome to see and get to know.
Yeah, it's really dope. Yeah, and just to like kind of say like thank you because I know I've kind of submitted some of my photography and some of my art for some of your shows, and
Yeah.
since we met like in last October, it's been cool because I appreciate you like reaching out to me, and that's the thing that that's why I wanted to spotlight you too because you give a lot of kind of opportunities to artists locally here in San Diego, and that's a really cool thing to do. That's like community based, you know, and it's really cool because sometimes people either are shy or don't know where to submit their art or whatever, and that's really cool that you do that. And so I just want to thank you because I actually even sold one of like a piece for Mother's Day,
Yeah.
so that was really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really love that you guys do that, and so shout out to Xochitl because I met her one of the times that I actually dropped. I think it might have been the Mother's Day one. I
Mm-hmm.
dropped it off with her, and I hadn't met her before, but yeah, she's pretty cool. So I was like, she's a character of like really like positive vibe that I got from her. So she's really dope. So shout out to her. But and she has a
Yeah.
dope shop too because I ended up getting some stuff from there.
Yeah, she's
Uh,
been really like a big mentor in a way for me too. Like she'll tell me what to do, what not to do, how to do it, because she's been in the game for so long. So I
yeah, yeah.
appreciate that from her.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, shout out to her. So it's kind of cool that little like connection that I didn't know that about La Galeria. That it's kind of like because of her too. So shout out to her.
Yeah.
And then shout out to Daniel Padilla too. So is he an artist as well, or what's
Yeah,
he?
he's an amazing artist, and it's so funny because I asked him one day, "Have you been, painting since you were a kid?" He's like, "No. When the pandemic hit,
Oh wow,
we nobody had anything to do, so I taught myself how to paint."
that's
And so
pretty
he
cool.
self-taught himself how to do. He paints with acrylic,
Mhm.
and then everything on canvas. So he
Yeah.
said, I would set my time for like 30 minutes to just practice.
Uh
And
huh.
then, just every day, every day. So he does a lot of amazing work. So I'm very excited to
Wow.
have partnered up with him.
Yeah, I think I want to say I saw one of the pieces that you posted on your Instagram. I'm like, damn, that's crazy. Like, I think that's really dope. Like, I love that a lot of people went into like their creative skills somehow, like during the pandemic. I think it's really dope because I went to Monster Palooza, kind of a little bit off tangent, but it kind of relates to this. So I met these people that do like dioramas, and the guy he just started like 2 years ago too. And I was like, oh my god, like it looks like you've been doing this for like years, but it's like, yeah, I
Mhm.
just practiced, and I was like, oh wow, that's pretty interesting. I was like, I told him it even inspired me to try to want to do dioramas because I was like, that's really cool, like the creativity that goes into all that stuff. So
Yeah.
that's pretty interesting. That's cool that because he looks like he's been doing it for years. When I saw one, I think it might have been Emiliano Zapata or something. It's something you posted, and I was
Hmm.
like, oh my god, this looks like really like good.
Details.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really detailed. Yes.
Hmm.
Yes, shout out to them. And then I really love that also, like I said, community because I met people some of the events that I've gone to because of you or having some of my art there or photography. Like shout out to Moni 619. I got her on the
Yeah.
podcast, and it was because the one of the events you had. I met her there, so that's been really cool to like kind of see like full circle. You know, like meeting other people,
Yeah.
other creatives is really cool. Um,
Definitely.
and what has been like the your favorite part of like what you're doing like with your photography and the events, and what's like the most difficult, like if you would have to say.
I think the fun part is just meeting everybody. I mean, I've met
Yeah.
again like you and Moni, and I didn't really know her before until all of this and all of you guys submitting your work. So just
Yeah.
getting to know and build relationships with
Yeah.
everybody. And then we all get to help each other out and, invite each other to our different things that we have going on. So I think that's been the most fun part of it all. Just getting to
Yeah.
know a lot of people, working together, kind of sharing our ideas, and just kind of, helping each other out. I think for
Yeah.
sure that's been the most fun. The most difficult, I just want to say probably just like the business side of it for me, just because I'm
Mm-hmm.
still learning. It's been only a year, so
Yeah.
I still continue to learn every single day. Just on that part, kind of like what works, because to me, I can make prints of so many different things, but it's like, who's going to buy it, you know?
Yeah.
Um, so just, I think for me, it's that, just kind of the business side of, um, getting my prints to be purchased, by people.
Yeah.
Um, and, all the taxes and,
I was gonna say that.
business side of everything like that, all of those
Yeah.
details like that. That
Yeah,
I
because
think
that's
that's,
complicated. Yeah, but that's really like, yeah, I can see that. Like as far as like, cause I was gonna say taxes is a whole different monster. I was just saying it from experience because right now that's kind of do on the side on my 9 to 5. Like I've been learning about taxes. I'm like, oh my god, I didn't think about like all the stuff that goes into all that, and I can only imagine as like a business owner, like the work that you have to do.
yeah.
Um, but then I do feel you too, like as creatives too, it's so hard when you have to like realize like, okay, like you said, I love creating all this stuff, right? But then you got to think about like, is this gonna actually like sell too? Because you're running a
Mhm.
business at the end of the day too, right? So
Right.
that's the difficult part, I think, when it becomes like something that it's a business and you love to do it, but you got to kind of
Mhm.
weigh the middle thing, right?
Right.
Um, what advice would you give to somebody like that? Like, because I know it's only been a year, but it's still like a year is a year. So, like, what advice would you give to somebody like maybe that's either thinking about, like starting something similar, like a creative type of business? Like, what advice would you give someone that's starting out?
Um, I think just reaching out to somebody. Um, when I first started the Luna Rose Photography
Hmm.
Studio, I followed every single person that I could like find or, relating to Barrio Logan. So that's kind of how I met all these different like this is a mutual friend of this one and this one and this one. And
Yeah,
just so that we're like, I'm always in the know of what's going on. And then I could go to those events and then meet the people and kind of network and, kind of go that way.
yeah,
Um, that's how I met a lot of people that I have been able to get great advice from, or even learn from. I'm working with this guy. His name is Anthony Munoz, and he's an amazing videographer. And
oh
so
yeah,
that's
he's
kind of
dope.
how
Shout out to
I've
him.
met him
Yeah,
through just different events and mutual friends.
yeah,
So just getting yourself out there, just going to different things to network, talk to people. If there's any workshops or free workshops, like go to them. Anything that you can that relates to like your business or what you want to do. I would definitely recommend like being part of those things.
yeah. That's really great advice because I can relate to that too. When I was like more in the hip hop scene, like I said, just immerse yourself in it and like get to know
Yeah.
people, like the people that you want to get to know, like or that you should know. That's really smart
Hmm.
that you did that too, like reaching out to people within the community to kind of like
Hmm.
introduce yourself and network. Um, and I think when I skipped this, but I wanted to ask you, and I don't know if I've ever asked you. Maybe you haven't. I just have a bad memory sometimes. But where
Hmm.
does like the name like Luna Rose, like what's the meaning behind that name?
So I have two daughters, and it's both their middle names.
Oh,
So
nice.
my oldest, who is 12, her name is Nailani Rose. And
Okay.
then my youngest, who is 7, her name is Eliza Luna. So it's Luna
Oh,
Rose
oh, that's
Photography.
beautiful.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I didn't even think so. I don't think I've ever asked you because I would have remembered that. I was like, I don't remember you telling me that. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
And then
Yeah, and
everybody,
what
you
made
know,
you think about that name?
I just like the way it sounded
Yeah,
too. I mean, I could have said like Rose Luna because,
yeah,
my oldest and my youngest,
uh
but
huh.
the
It doesn't hit the
switch,
same.
yeah, that didn't
Yeah,
sound right. So Luna
yeah.
Rose sounded a lot better.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
pretty cool name. At first, I was like, I always wanted to call you Luna, but I was like, that's not her name. Like, I always like
And
sometimes I'll be
that's
like,
so funny because that's what everybody calls me.
yeah,
And someone said, "Are you okay if I just call you that?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's fine." I'll respond to Luna too. And sometimes, a lot of the times too, I'll introduce myself as that because of my Instagram page. It's so
yeah.
much easier for people to remember.
Yeah, that's how you become your handle because that's how I just went by seven
Yeah,
Octobers. I just started calling myself that when I would go, like you said, because it was my Instagram, and then people slowly started catching on. Like some people don't even really know my real name probably, but
yeah,
it's like I think as a creative, it's cool because it's kind of like maybe like an alter ego, right? Like that could be your alter
yeah,
ego, and it's kind of cool because it's your daughter, so you'll remember like is your daughter's names,
yeah.
That's pretty cool. Um, and what about like kind of like this was just kind of like out the box kind of question, but it's like, what's your favorite like photograph that you've taken and why?
Um, I think that there is a photograph that I have that it's a picture of an alleyway uh, in Barrio Logan. It's right next to Mujeres Brew House, actually. It's one of the
Okay.
little alleyways there. It's in black and white. I did it. It's in digital format. And I just like because a lot of my photography right now is of Barrio Logan. Because at Grossmont, I did my final portfolio of Barrio Logan. And so I had a lot of photographs of it. And that's kind of like when I did my grand opening, I did, my whole studio of all of those pictures.
Yeah.
But yeah, that specific one and just a lot of the photographs of Barrio Logan just kind of brings me back to my childhood. So just growing up there and um, being at my grandparents' house and playing outside with my cousins and not
Yeah.
having to worry about work and adult life
Yeah.
and just being a kid. So just kind of being in those familiar places just brings me back brings back all those childhood memories. So that alleyway in itself is just it kind of like you see all the wires too just kind of connecting from just the different houses. So
Yeah.
there you could see kind of like a picture of a mural that one of my aunts did, my mom's sister,
Wow.
of some mariachis. So she was an artist herself too. She loved to paint and draw, a musician. She played the guitar, I don't know, since I can remember.
Yeah.
But she passed away in 2020. So kind
Okay.
of
Sorry
like
to
just
hear.
seeing that also just brings back memories of her and just, all the
Yeah.
good times of just kind of spending time and being together.
Yeah, that's beautiful. You have to send me the pictures so I can show it when I'm showing this clip so people can see it. So it's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Yeah, that's cool. And I now think about, I mean, I don't know if maybe you tied it in, but I was like, when you were talking about like how you did your final like project on like Barrio Logan, like I wonder if I was like, you kind of manifested too, because you took the class before you had your business, right? Like the course or whatever,
Yeah.
right? So like maybe it was
Hmm.
like manifesting that you would have your business in Barrio Logan. That's kind of crazy. Like, I don't know, I just tied it together a little bit right now when you were saying that. That's kind of
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. I'm a kind of like a true believer in like things happen for a reason. And
Yeah,
so, these certain things navigate you to where you're meant to go. And so
exactly.
I think I was meant to do this. Um, I wish I had like really pursued photography in high school. I took photography classes in high school, but
Hmm.
I wish I had really pursued it after. Um,
Yeah,
Not until like later, now.
yeah.
in 2020, 2021. But yeah, I feel like I could have done maybe a lot more. I could have had a lot more photos. I like taking a lot of pictures of places where I grew up in or where I used to live.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of those places like are getting torn down,
Yeah.
like what
Yeah.
was there isn't there anymore. So I wish, that's the only thing, like I wish I would have taken more photographs of like different places, because I could have had those,
Like
kind of like
memories. Or...
old, yeah, memories.
Yeah, yeah, but it's cool. I mean, I always think, like I said, I'm a firm believer too of like how you're like what how we just said about like how when you're destined to do something, like it's somehow like the road will lead you back to where you were meant to be. So like you
Mm-hmm.
talking about that, like even though if you didn't start earlier, but somehow it's still your path led you to now you're doing it, right? And so I
Yeah.
think about the same thing for me. Like I still have a 9 to 5 and everything, and but it's still like no matter what, like music and movies and all that stuff, like it still led me to like I mean doing this podcast and this like all these creative stuff where
Yeah.
like sometimes I think about like so many times I could have just quit and we could have just quit, like and not even pursued it, but now we're doing it now, so it's never too late. And I think
Yeah.
somehow like your path leads to where you're meant to be, because sometimes I would think about it, I'm like, man, what if I didn't do any of this? But I can't think about like a world where I don't do anything creative. It's like it's just
Yeah.
it's within us, so I'm pretty sure it's the same thing for you, like that calling.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, that's really beautiful, and like again, congrats on like the 1 year, and it's short still, but it's almost gonna for me. It's already July. I don't know. In my
Yeah.
mind, it's already it's
Going
already
by so
July.
fast.
Yeah. And then when is it? What exact day is it? Your anniversary that
I
you have
believe
a
it's
year?
the 29th, July
29th.
29th. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe I can drop this then, so you can do like a little happy anniversary episode. Or just
Yeah, I'm gonna do like a little 1 year anniversary inside the art hub, and then maybe do kind of like a little after party at Confluencia Creativa, like in the evening, more of
okay.
like kind of like a chill, you know, gallery event stuff there too.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to like check it out and show love, and I know we've been talking about like maybe doing something for like October, and that'll be kind of a full circle moment too, because that's where we
Yeah.
met too at like an event that I threw in October, so it'd be kind of cool to like collaborate. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that'd be dope. And then before we get out of here, actually, it kind of leads to my last question about like upcoming events, right? That you're working on. Like I said, you're always giving opportunities to artists, photographers, and so I kind of wanted to give you a platform to like kind of just shout out like anything that you have upcoming, for people, like because I know you have a lot of call to artists and stuff like that.
Yeah, so for July, with it being Comic Con right around the corner,
Yes.
we are doing a Comic Con themed exhibition, like a group exhibition. It'll start on July 6th, and it'll pretty much run all the way to the end of the month. Um, Drop off begins this weekend and the following days to come. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see everybody. I think somebody just messaged me and said I dropped off my work with Sochi.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go pick it up tomorrow, and yeah, I'm excited to see what everybody brings, and all the artwork that we'll be able to put up on the gallery.
Yeah.
So that's what we have for July, and then we have the vendor spots
Oh yeah, you
available
got
for
vendors.
anybody that wants to be a vendor at the gallery as well. And that's every weekend. So every Saturday and Sunday between 10:30 to 4:30 is when we have the vendors there, for everybody to come and check out everything that they do and all the stuff they sell. Sometimes we have food vendors there too. I know Isa's sweets. She does the tamales.
Yeah.
She's doing elotes. This weekend we have like Vintage Rose, who's gonna be there also this weekend, and she does like real beautiful jewelry work.
Okay.
And then we just have a lot of different vendors coming July 6th as well too, for the opening of the Comic Con themed exhibition. And yeah, that's kind of what we have for July coming up.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I might have to like see if I can be a vendor in July because I remember I was kind of joking around, but I was like, because I literally when you messaged me, it was so weird. Like that's why I believe like in the power of manifestation because I literally was like thinking about like because I'm gonna go to Comic Con this year again, and I was like, man, I want to bring like some of my art, but I have to like sneak it and like try to sell it outside of the thing because I know I don't have like a
Mm,
permit to be selling it inside. And then you
yeah.
like hit me up, and I was like, "Oh, this is perfect. Like, I don't have to like try to be be side hustling outside over here, but maybe I'll still try it. We'll see. Hopefully, I don't get in trouble for trying to sell on like on the premises. But and actually, I have one of my pieces here. I think I have it behind me, so I can kind of show you uh, the ones that I'm gonna probably drop off.
Okay.
I printed them, so they just came through. So this is the it's kind of like the glare, but it's
Oh,
Hellboy.
yeah. Nice.
So I'm like a
That's
huge Guillermo del
cool.
Toro fan. And then
Yeah.
I did this one because this one's a special one. It's actually the first one where I started to paint. It's like
Yeah.
Venom and Spider Man. Because like
Yeah.
for me, it's like it's like
Like,
a image of kind of like my anxiety, where it's like it's symbiotic relationship I have
mm-hmm.
with it. Like I'm learning to like not hate my anxiety because it's also a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where that one came, and that was the first piece I ever drew where I was like, oh, I'm not that bad. Like I can draw because I can
Yeah.
doodle. But I was like, and then I started to just like kind of like what you said about Daniel Padilla, where he was like, he just started practicing. Then I started doing the same thing. I'm like, you know what? Like, maybe I can like, I wasn't even thinking about selling anything. I was like, maybe I could just do this, like draw for like, it helps me with like my stress and anxiety. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
and then I sold a piece like a couple weeks after, or a couple months after, I think. And I was like, oh, this is cool. I didn't even think about it. Like, as,
Mm-hmm.
and so like, also thank you, like I said again, for like letting me, like, even if it doesn't sell, like, it's cool to just have it, like, showcase it. And people like
Yeah.
comment or say, like, oh, this is a really dope piece, you know? So
Yeah.
I want to just thank you, like, what you're doing for like the community, for like the artist community. It doesn't go like unnoticed. I'm pretty sure other people have told you the same thing, but I just want to say like I am appreciative, like of the opportunities that you give and that you've given me personally, and always like
Yeah.
reaching out and saying like, hey, I want to like we have photography and art show coming up. Like, do you want to participate? So I want to just thank you and give you your flowers, because I am
Oh, thank
appreciative.
you. Yeah, of course. Of course. It's so rewarding, yeah, for sure. And I love helping. I think we all should be able to help each other out some way, shape, or form. I think it just kind of makes us better and stronger and,
Yes.
gives us that more of a push and motivation to kind of like keep going. So I think that helps, in
Yeah.
general for me to give back because I know I've gotten that, from people for myself too. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, because I know sometimes there's a like not saying in like luckily the community that I've been around, everybody's like you said, willing to help each other. But I know
Hmm.
sometimes there's people where like, oh, there might not be like if there's not room for me, there shouldn't be room for you, you know. So I really love
Hmm.
that like the community of like Barrio Logan, that everybody is like willing to help each other out. That is not like that scarce mentality. So I just want to
Yeah.
say thank you why I have you on, and that's why I kind of wanted to showcase you today.
Mhm.
So before we
Thank
get
you.
out of here, yeah, no problem. Before we get out of here, is there anything else? I don't know if you want to also share the address too. Like I know some people, I would probably try to share like a flyer, but of like where the space is at, like your studio and then the Galeria.
Yeah, so we're right on Logan Avenue, the Art Hub. We now have a sign, so
Nice.
you will see it from the street sign, but the Art Hub's address is 2151 Logan Avenue. And there's a lot of different artists there, creatives. We have a fashion designer that just moved in
Oh
not
wow.
too long ago. There's so many different little shops there. Um, I mean, a lot of people sometimes come in and they're like, I didn't know all of this was back here. So I'm like,
I
yeah,
didn't
you
even know until I
go
went to
all the
go
way
the first
around.
time.
Yeah, yeah. So if you're
Yeah.
ever inside the art hub, make sure to go and check out every single studio in there because you'll definitely find something amazing. We have a lot of different artists. Vanessa, who does jewelry, I mean, the works. So,
Yeah.
and then the Galeria, Confluencia Creativa Galeria. It's right in between El Carrito restaurant and Nativo gift shop. So in between those two, there's a little fence that you go in through there. It leads you to the back of into the Galeria, but we have some signs, some A signs there that will say art show or art exhibition to kind of, make it visible for people to see. So both spaces are right on Logan Avenue, just right across the street from each other.
Perfect.
So
All right.
yeah,
Yeah, well, thank you so much for like your time and sharing a little bit of your story. And yeah, just thank you.
you, of course, thank you.